Good morning to you from London. My name is Oliver and I would like to welcome you to the first round of the new WRS season World Realistic Series. One of the most intense racing we've seen has occurred in the past two races, two test races, but they've shown us more than what we could have expected. Interlagos is the track we're racing at today. Two Ferraris have already exited the pits alongside a McLaren. Drivers will be making sure that they set up the car perfectly because this track requires amazing aerodynamics. It's full of tight corners, long straights. You need both the lack of you need the aero and you need the downforce. Which one will the drivers opt out for today? We will see, and we will judge after the drivers set the first laps, hot laps, all trying for the prestigious position of pole position. 15 corners around the circuit. Average gear changes are very common here at this circuit. The most common gear to be used around the circuit is gear 5 and gear 7. The tight corners will be the ones using gear 5, yet the long straights will be usually pushing for the 8th. But the drivers might be opting out for a different gear, possibly trying to fit their setup better. We now see the McLaren about to enter his first lap. The first driver that will complete a hot lap on these tyres. The hard tyres are the ones that he is driving on right now. Possibly not the fastest compound, but definitely a good one to start on. Sector 2 already fitted with yellow flags. Here we go, 5th gear, 6th and 7th, as we have mentioned. A very tight gear to enter around this track. Sector 3, 102, 103, 104. How fast will he go around the circuit? He passes the 110 mark and he makes it a 111.5, only 1 second slower than the world record for this track set by Valtteri Bottas in 2018. That was a 110.5. This driver will definitely be proud with his current performance. But the McLaren has already been beaten by an Alfa Romeo of Monster. 110 is a lap, as they are all beaten. And the Renault sets a 109.6, beating the current world record set by a real Formula 1 driver. Amazing talent that we've got here in this league. This will be a really intense race, as the other ones have been this season. I'd like to remind you that the season begins today. The past two races were only test races, so they did not have any meaning. They were only there to judge the drivers upon the skill set and the cleanness of the driving. As here we see a Mercedes beating the current fastest lap. 109.3 is the one to beat. Now this Mercedes is finally living up to its car. Manuel has not had the best season so far. His test races were very poor performance, finishing outside the top 10 once, and then the low 10th once in the first race as well. He must be proud of what he's set right now, because this is absolutely amazing. With 14 minutes and 30 seconds to go, the drivers will be definitely opting out for another lap. Kingsky, traditionally sitting in the pits, still there. He'll be exiting the pits for one run and one run only. We now see the Red Bull pulling out. This is a very packed grid. We see that the first driver has set a 109.3. The current last driver with the set time is a 112, set by NRG. Quite surprising if you ask me. Not that much of a difference between the drivers. It will definitely be substantial once we get into the race, but it's not too bad. He's on plus 1.8 seconds, Kimi, up to P1. Sliding around the track. I think he's going to be pitting this lap. Doesn't look like it, as if he's pushing too much. Yellow flags in sector 3. And here he goes. Yeah, into the pits he does go. Now if we take a look at the Haas of Jacob, who's just begun his lap. A dirty driver he is. He's been tyre bumping a lot in the past races. He's not the fastest driver there is in this league. Not the cleanest either. Drivers would need to watch out for him. We've had several retirements, 7 in fact over the last few races, and a total of 7 safety cars. 3 safety cars per race, and 3 safety cars in the first race around Austria, and 4 safety cars around Singapore. I really don't know if we'll see a safety car around here at Interlagos. It's quite a clean circuit to drive. Not the hardest and not the most demanding. But who knows, with this set of drivers, anything is possible. He goes through sector 3, the 50th second mark has been passed. He actually sets the fastest lap if I'm correct, or the fastest sector 2 if I'm correct. He could go high up in this table. 103, 104, 105, he passes the 105. He goes clean on the inside of the track, and he does not make the fastest lap. Quite far off, he makes it 12th. He was definitely hoping for something more, but with this tight of a grid, you have to really be on the edge at every single corner to do anything. Here goes Killers in the Ferrari. An amazing driver pushing for higher positions last race. Threading the circuit, which is 4.3 kilometers long. Looks like he's going to be coming into the pits. He's going too slow to be trying for a fastest lap. But here goes the Renault behind him, tucking in from the slipstream. And looks like they're both coming in. Oh, what was that? Pit lane drama. Luckily enough, they haven't received any penalties after all. The penalties and qualies are very odd. The game tends to give drivers a 5-place grid penalty for barely anything. Any touch can end up being very fatal. The time to beat is still 109.3, over a second faster than the real life lap record. As the Mercedes now looks to find an edge on his own time, chipping away every single corner. And here he goes. A 109.3, he's going to try and beat his own time. 8th gear through. Actually, he has beat his own time already. 109.023. Amazing performance from the driver. Manuel will definitely be a favourite for this race's win. He needs the retribution from the past races. He's in a Mercedes remote. He might have been sandbagging in the last races. Although we are in realistic performance, this driver does have much more of a chance to win, as he is simply in a Mercedes. But as we see, the skill set is more than just the car, as we've got Alfa Romeo on P2. I don't really think he should be trying to push for another lap here. 2 straight runs is not the best idea, especially with such worn tyres. Well, here he is, by the looks of it, trying to set another fastest lap. Really warm tyres at this point. Not a lot of fuel, but can he make it? Is he going to pull into the pits, or is he going to continue this lap? He pulls into the pits. 109.023, amazing lap from this Mercedes driver. As Alfa Romeo tries to beat him, no he cannot. 109.3. He comes on an edge to the driver's previous record, but it's still not enough. It's quite amazing how these drivers are hitting these amazing laps. This is just a game, and they've got better laps than real life F1 drivers. Here we see the racing points of Savvy pushing the edge through Sector 2. Sector 2 consists of corners between 4 and 11. A very tight and slow sector that is. As it goes very wide, that will be his... That looks as if his lap is done. Will he make something more though? He might be trying, regardless of the mistakes he has made, he might be trying for something more than this P7 that he's currently got. He currently runs at a 109.4. He goes into the pits. 6 minutes ago, and Kingsley is, as always, the last driver to still be in the pits. He has not set a lap, but he will definitely be contesting for something more than what he's currently standing. P19 and a pit lane start will not be the best idea for him. The Red Bull eases off. He's going to be dangerously getting ready for his hot lap. Let's quickly run through your top three. Manuel in the Mercedes, NRG in the Ferrari, and Kimi in the Red Bull. Just like the championship standings from last season in real life F1. Here comes the Mercedes, or is that, no, that is the Mercedes, yes, I was correct. Here comes the Mercedes out on track. The Mercedes seems to be let off though. His teammate in P18 is setting a 111. Not the best idea for him if he wants to hit the championship win this season. Here he comes, the dangerous Viper of the Mercedes, warming up his tyres. He needs all the heat that he can get to hit the fastest lap of this race. He wants to consolidate his lead. He knows that Kingsley will be only doing one run the way he's been doing in the past two races. He knows that he needs the raw speed and raw talent. 4 minutes ago, Kingsley is still in the pits. He's got the softs on. Here he comes, just setting the fuel loads to the highest possible position. ERS as well. Here he comes with 85% ERS. He needs to make a full entire lap. We can just see how much the ERS is being eaten up around the straight. He's gone from 87 to currently what's 68%. Here he comes, making up a lot of the ERS, but through turn 1 he threads it. Very aggressive on the gears. Gear 5, 6, DRS perfectly turned on, just on the spot. He goes past the racing point right there. Green flags threading the next corner. Very beautiful. That is the end of sector 1. He now makes sector 2. Not beating his current sector 1, but he is still pushing. He knows that any single mistake will cost him something, possibly even a pole position, so he needs to make up the most time as possible. Rooted on the ancient circuit, active since 1973. How fast can this man go? One lap, one tyres, 51 seconds. He's going through through sector 2. But as we've seen, the purple light has shone up on around sector 2, so he is making up time. How fast can he go? 109.0 to beat. He makes a 108.5. What a lap by Manuel with the Mercedes. Perfect driving, absolutely amazing. He is there is no way that any driver will be able to beat him now. 108.5, 1.5 seconds faster than Valtteri Bottas's fastest time, set on during the 28 season. Here go all the drivers out on track once again. as we see a new driver here on track today, possibly a reserve driver if I'm correct. There goes Aaron retiring from the session after running in P10. Very aggressive he is. Here goes the Williams out of the pit lane. Ryan is a strong driver. He needs to consolidate something more than this P14. But here's the Williams, we can't expect too much, remember that. Jacob in P15. Kingski is still in the pits. He does leave the pits. Here comes the reigning leader of this league, WRS league. Is currently being dominated by Kingski. Not the best race for him last race in Singapore, but he has been very strong. P5 I think he was at the position that he finished at. And he has won the first race thanks to penalties after finishing P2 on lap position. Here he is on the medium compounds. He knows that if he makes it in the top 10 he's going to be starting on a different on the compound that he set his quali lap on. He knows that he's got the speed. Manuel in the Mercedes will now be sitting in the pits watching Kingsley dominate the circuit. But how far can he go? How much can he dominate the circuit by? He pulls over to the grass to let the Red Bull through. All the drivers sitting full laps, but all eyes are on the racing points as he goes wide again to let the Toro Rosso through. Clean driving from this racing point. His teammate now goes through. Here he comes, Kingski. As he goes wide, that will be costing him a lot of time. He might be regretting not going for an earlier lap before. But here he is, amazing driver, DRS zone, 80% ERS. Here he goes, threading through every single corner. He starts his lap now. Beautifully executing this corner, absolutely kissing the apex. Then he goes through the, turn 2, through turn 3, onto the long DRS zone behind, again pressing that DRS button straight at the moment it turns on, as there is a driver in the wall in front of him. But he doesn't care, that was savage. He needs to carry on. He knows that if his teammate crashes out, he needs to complete something better, as the drivers are now finishing their runs. Manuel with the Mercedes is currently leading. 1:8.5 is the time to beat. Kingsley is going to be pushing through every single corner now. He is still in sector 2. He has not managed to set the fastest sector 1. This is not looking too good for him. Jacob has also retired from the section sector 2. 45.46 here. He was almost about to finish it. Does he make the fastest sector 2? Does he? No, he does not. Kingsley does not make the fastest sector 2. It does not look good for him. You know, threads as he lets the Ferrari through. He'll be slipstreaming behind the NRG. He will be. This doesn't look too good for the drivers, because on the inside he's got the DRS, he's got the slipstream. Where does he finish? He finishes in P19. Not the best run at all for the reigning leader of this league. Possibly something to learn for him in the future. Possibly we could have believed that he should have left the pits a little earlier and tried for a different time. Here is your current top 5. Manual, Killers, followed by Hybrid, MES and Kimi. These drivers have all done the laps and softs. The only driver to have done his lap on a different tyre compound was Kingsley. That could have possibly been a strategic decision, as he knows that if he starts on a better compound, he might have to complete less pit stops, 30 laps, 35 laps or 36, depending on how the game will cut the 71 laps in half. Will be the race distance for the race today. Here are the drivers getting ready for 15 corners carried out 36 times around the 4.3 kilometer circuit. Valtteri Bottas' fastest time was a 1:10.5. I repeat, from before. That has been easily broken in today's racing. Some drivers are not ready, some drivers will be wanting, they will be greedy for making up positions, for making up time. Here they go, the 19 drivers, 20 now. Kingsley does not start last as we've got another driver. This is the formation lap, I remind you. The beautiful Mercedes starting the race, starting and pulling away from the grid. Tell us your race predictions in the comments now. All the drivers swirling from side to side, even though we've got somebody called Kimi in this league. We do not have a Kimi Raikkonen. Remember, Kimi Raikkonen is the one that doesn't need foam tyres. Alfa Romeo of MES in 4th. He's inside of the Red Bull sandwich here. Another Ferrari in 6th, followed by Renault, Haas, Racing Point, who has actually out-qualified his teammate in the first race. Here comes the McLaren. Here goes Aaron in the other Renault. He knows that he wants something more than this P12. This driver is absolutely amazing. As you actually see Jacob doing some weird things there. King's Cup from P19 to P11 during the formation lap. Of course, that does not count. His other Mercedes, sorry. Here's the grid relining up now. And here they are, 20 drivers ready for something amazing. Here they go, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. We're waiting for the 5th light. Something wrong? Okay, the game has glitched, but here we have 5 lights and away we go. The Red Bull goes out onto the outside of the Mercedes. The Ferrari going on the inside of the Mercedes, both pushing the Mercedes through. The Red Bull makes it through into first, while the Mercedes is pushing and battling the Ferrari behind him. The Ferrari behind him actually goes for a slight spin, as we've already got a first retirement of this session. As the Red Bull goes out, that will sure bring out a safety car, as there was already a 5-second time penalty in this race. Virtual safety car, yes, we have called it. Yes, I am correct. What has happened here? Savvy in the Racing Point is now 6th. The drivers will be rebudging up again. This has really got my temperature going up again. Energy has received the 5-second time penalty as Single Glory has left the session. Drivers are now giving up. Casey makes it to P18 thanks to the retirement of several drivers, but Jacob is in P14. Looks like the safety car is now left off the track. The Red Bull now leads the pack. The Mercedes following close by. 1 second is already the difference between first and second place. Killers in the Ferrari is now pushing close, while the Alfa Romeo is right behind him in the slipstream. So are all the drivers behind him. The DRS has not been activated yet. It will be activated on the 3rd lap, as long as all goes to plan and everything is correct. Here goes Hybrid Snorlax. 1:21 is the fastest lap in the Aston Martin Red Bull Racing. As the Renault actually goes up on a move around the Haas, the Haas will now be pushing back. Can he? No, he cannot. He's in the slipstream though. Only 0.6 seconds, 0.3 seconds behind the Renault. Can he make the move? He seems to be too far back, but he can make a dive bomb. Does he? No, he does not. As well, I'll take a look at the Ferrari Racing Point fight up in the front. Nothing too brutal happening around there. As there is a battle for first place, as Manuel has regained the lead for the race. The Red Bull will definitely be furious. He has had a perfect start in this race. He's far away from the Ferrari's slipstream. But there is a safety car, meaning there is no fighting for now. 2 safety cars are only 2 laps into the race. quite amazing. 2 retirements, 1 Mercedes already down, letting down his teammate who is currently running in first. Jacob in 14th. Kingsley still in P18. Not the best start for the driver that can do a lot in this race. He's got potential as the driver next to him, the Toro Rosso, and there's several cars in front of him pitting, possibly due to damage. Fast pit stops for all the teams. What a start to this race. Kimi has spun, lost grip, forcing him to retire from the race. All the drivers are now eyeing up. They know they want to win this race. They're all so close by. The Mercedes will be pushing the field. He will be controlling the tempo once the safety car leaves the circuit. This is pretty amazing for this thing. We've had so many safety cars already. In every single race there has been a safety car. Does that mean that the league is dirty? No, it just means it's highly competitive. Of course we do have some dirty drivers, but it does not mean that they all are like that. Here's the Red Bull of Hybrid now pushing his car through every corner, saving up all the ERS because he wants the speed, he needs the speed. He has the speed to tackle the Mercedes. The grid is now, the top 3 is running in the same order they have been running at the start of the race. Absolutely amazing start for Manuel though, who's managed to fight back. All the drivers in the top 3 have shown how much they're capable of something more. As NRG actually gets a 5-second time penalty for exceeding the track limits under safety car conditions. Beautiful Alfa Romeo driven by Kimi Räikkönen and Antonio Giovinazzi in real life, but here we have some other drivers now pushing for P4, which is something quite unrealistic for the drivers in Formula 1, the real racing, but talent is everything in online racing. As we now see Kingsley in P13, making up 9 positions thanks to pit stops. The drivers are now going through Sector 2. We have not received any information about the safety car pulling in, which is quite odd if you ask me. All drivers have 40 ERS, and thanks to this they will be saving fuel. With the no refueling law for several years now, the team needs to make sure that the fuel they use is strong enough to power the whole race. Is the safety car going to pit? Yes, the safety car pits. We have not received any information about this, but here they go once again. The Red Bull trying to make a move out on the outside as the Ferrari goes up on the inside. Killers, will he make the move? Killers, yes he does, or does he? As there are more moves around on the outside. Here goes Alfa Romeo pushing through. Is the other Alfa Romeo pushing into the Renault? Will he make a big dive bomb? Yes he does. Will he hold on? No he does not, as they bump. Here we see Jacob now pushing the other Alfa Romeo which was fighting the Red Bull. Can he make the dive bomb? No he cannot. The dive bombs are a very good strategy around the circuit, but they're also very dangerous. Kingsley up in P12 now, making a move up on the McLaren. Kenny, no he cannot. The Toro Rosso is going to continue fighting in actually no, that was not Kingsley, sorry, that was Caramel. He is in P11. He's going to continue fighting on this in this position, as there is a lot of traffic further up the field. We now take a look up there where the Red Bull has actually lost position to the Ferrari of Killers, who is now pushing the Mercedes through every single corner. He needs to make this race. He needs to win this race. This driver deserves it. He is 0.4 seconds behind. Does not look as if DRS is available yet, but here he goes around the starting straight. Killers makes the fastest lap, 1:12. Can he make the move around the outside? No, he cannot. He is a bit too far away. 0.2 seconds he's made up from the beginning of the starting straight. Here they go on the next straight. DRS will be available. No, it will not actually. Slipstream was pretty powerful on this track. Too far away to make a move. We will be catching up there in a moment. But for now we have to look at what's going down further down the field, as that is Aaron fighting his teammate. And fighting Savvy in the racing point further up the field as well. Here is Jacob actually going through the ghosting car of the McLaren. I wonder... that has been some sort of glitch, as the drivers have got some internet problems all glitching around the circuit. Here's the Williams of Ryan going through, pushing every single corner. He wants this upper position. He needs this top 10 finish. Kingsley won in the P13. Here are the drivers. 0.6 seconds now. Divides P1 from P2 a bit more than what we've seen a second ago. Jacob is seriously glitching, which will be a problem for ATW trying to make the move, but here he is, slipstreaming through the corners. DRS has been enabled, and the Mercedes of Manuel now hits the fastest lap of the race. A lot of fighting here as the Haas now tries to make the move around the inside of the McLaren, but he cannot because of the lack of space and the glitching of the McLaren. Here goes the Williams right behind them now, going to try and make a move. Can he? He has let out. He has been going up on the inside a bit too early. He does love a lot of clear air, as we've seen in the previous races. Back at the start of the field now, the drivers are starting to separate each other. Soon they'll be out of each other's DRS and slipstream reach. Here is Manuel comfortably running the race, as Reiki actually DNFs. I believe that is a McLaren, letting down his teammate, which is currently running in. Where is the other McLaren? There he is. ATW safety car again, third safety car of the race. Lap 7 already, and we've already got 3 safety cars, sorry. This is definitely not the best news, as they almost come to touching the racing points and the Red Bull. As the Red Bull actually gets a penalty. These drivers are still pushing while we've heard that there is a safety car, which is quite odd. But never mind, here we go. Maybe that is just a glitch. Maybe there is no safety car out of track. Here's the Red Bull of Hybrid now trying to go back into P2. The position that he deserves, the position that he's been running in before. Actually no, that is the safety car. Never mind, my bad. Here we see the safety car queue, the top 4 still running in the positions they had started. Absolutely fantastic racing so far. The safety car might ends up being one of the contestants pretty soon, as we actually see a driver that has joined. No clue who that is, but probably is just another spectator for today's race. Cars around this track look absolutely beautiful, and you cannot argue with that, as this is Kingsley running on P12 on his medium tyre compounds. Maybe he wishes that he went on the softs now. He could have gone for a faster lap, and if he had done, he could have pit during the safety car, like in one of the 3 safety cars in this lap, in this race already. But no one can predict safety cars, although I think that from next race drivers will be expecting these to come up pretty often. Here is the Haas going up on the inside of the Alfa Romeo. That is not the best idea, as is he going to pit? No, he is not. A bit of a dummy there, revving his car as much as possible, trying to make up all the speed he can. Cars swivel from side to side, making sure they have all the tire temperature they can. The top grid is really bunched up now. Quite spectacular racing from all the drivers here. Luckily enough, we haven't seen any Toro Rossos attacking Ferraris the way we've seen them last race during safety car conditions. That was a glitch, of course, but it was kind of a weird one. So his steering wheel 180 degrees side to side. He wants to regain the lead of this race. We've seen the start and it was absolutely spectacular. Will the safety car pull in this lap? We have not received any information yet, but make sure to look at the bottom of our screens. The information should come up any moment soon. Yes, the safety car is in this lap as we prepare ourselves to resume this battle between the Mercedes, the Ferrari and the Red Bull hybrid. How much can these drivers push during this race? We've already had 3 retirements and 4 safety cars, if I'm correct, and they are ready to pounce. Here they go. The Mercedes resumes the speed as the Red Bull takes a look up on the inside of the Ferrari. Can he make the move? He now tucks in the slipstream as the Ferrari has a lot more has a lot more speed into through the starting straight. He now goes up the inside, but the Ferrari's going to have the inside onto the next corner. He has to push around the outside. He's going to have the slipstream though into the next corner. Looks like the Ferrari is treading behind, but all eyes on the Red Bull hybrid. Can he make the move? Dynamic dive? But no, he does not. As the Ferrari now looked as if he was trying to make a slight move up on the inside of the Mercedes, but he does not. The Red Bull now tries to punch back again. How much can he fight? FEO Magic Alonso has retired from the session. 4th retirement of the race. Don't tell me that's another safety car. Please, I want to see these drivers fight. Here we see the Toro Rosso fighting Jacob 4P11 as he actually slightly trods off. We see a fight here between the McLaren and the Ferrari of NRG. He's currently trying to live up to what his teammate is currently performing, which is a P2, and fighting for a P1. Here they go through the start-finish straight. The McLaren will be in the slipstream of the driver in front of him, as so will all the drivers there. It doesn't look as if he's going to be close enough, but here's the Williams going around the inside of the Toro Rosso. Can he make a stick? No, he cannot. Munster has a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, probably exceeding track limits as well. Here they go, better run. The Williams has a better run, but he is actually being attacked by the Ferrari. He now makes up several positions. Amazing driving here, but the drivers are very close by, as that is the Toro Rosso who's spun and he has lost a tyre. Another safety car, another retirement. What a race. Every single move that a driver tries to complete, someone ends up crashing. What is happening in this league? What we're seeing here is really spectacular. I would have never expected these drivers to be pushing so much to end up with this much retirements. As the safety car is now out, and we see the Ferrari trying to push opposite the Mercedes into P1. Kenny, he's actually really close. They touch. That is part of the Ferrari's front wing gone. He will be in trouble with Red Bull, who's in front of him, who's behind him. Sorry, as we see a position change between the drivers behind. Here is a fight between the Red Bull and the Alfa Romeo. The Red Bull makes the Renault, sorry, makes up on the inside as the Alfa Romeo tries to trod on. No contact there, but there is a racing point behind the Alfa Romeo pushing as well. The Alfa Romeo might lose 2 positions within a single lap, but he is pushing back up until up onto P7. Here is R1 now pushing onto the other racing points. Can he do something now? We see that the difference between the first and second place is 0.9 seconds, meaning that the Ferrari does have the DRS going into turn 1. Or does he? Here goes the Red Bull, sorry. The Mercedes happily trotting along by 0.7 of a second. He will be losing time though through the next straight, as he does not have DRS and he does not have any car to slipstream off. Here we see a fight between the Haas and the Toro Rosso. Beautiful move around the outside into the next corner, starting onto the straight as the Haas goes out on the grass, treading on, and because of that the Haas loses some space to the Toro Rosso, who now pulls away quite comfortably. He's under threat from the Williams right behind him though. A very tight straight this is right now, but he was still trying to make the move. Just because a straight is tight doesn't mean that you can't go for a move. 5 DNFs is what we've currently got to live with. As we take a look up on the start of the grid, where the Renault is actually, where the Red Bull is really close to the Ferrari. 0.2 of a second. He's going to have DRS. He's going to have slipstream. He can make a move. If he acts as smart, he might not decide to make a move up onto this next corner, but up onto the next straight, because that is where he's going to make up the most spot. As Manuel makes the fastest lap, but the Red Bull makes a move around the outside. He's going to have the inside into the next corner. Can he? The Ferrari pulls away. The Ferrari now has the inside into the next corner as they touch. Luckily enough, there's no retirement there, as the Red Bull is very lucky to have the DRS into the next straight. Because of all this fighting, the Mercedes managed to pull away from the two drivers by 2 seconds. As here is the Ferrari fighting, and again for P2, the Alfa Romeo trotting back right behind, also trying to make something move. Obviously fighting from these two drivers, all going for the better of the Mercedes, who's now comfortably slightly in the lead there. How far can this driver go? How far can they push each other? With the damage, looks like the Ferrari will have problems, as hybrid Snortax in the Red Bull now makes it into P2, but he is under a lot of threat from the Ferrari, which, regardless of the problems, has actually pitted into the pits. 5-second penalty for killers after speeding into the pit lane. A very common mistake here, as the Red Bull actually goes quite wide there. Drivers now pulling in and making up positions thanks to the first pit stop, the first proper pit stop of the race on lap 15. As we actually see fighting here between the Alfa Romeo and the Red Bull, the Alfa Romeo has caught up very quickly. He makes it into second in the Alfa Romeo. The Red Bull will be trotting along. It's only a matter of time between these two drivers end up colliding. This is just obvious. It's clear what's going to happen. Two highly competitive drivers now allowing Manuel to pull away by 4 seconds. And the Alfa Romeo is in trouble now, as he's going to have to live with the Red Bull behind him having a slipstream and DRS as long as the Red Bull does not make any problems into the next any mistakes into the next sector, into the next straight. He does not, which now means that he's got DRS. He now has slipstream as well. Does either driver pit? No, they don't. The Red Bull is now fighting for the next position, as here was the Alfa Romeo pulling up onto the inside, trying to break the slipstream, and he has managed to do so successfully. Here's the Red Bull though, trying to continue pushing though. Can he do anything? It looks like he's kind of far though, but he will be making space. 0.3 of a second difference to the Alfa Romeo, who will be close for the next laps, as he is actually very close now. We take a look down the field as Aaron has actually lost the position to Xavier in the racing points. As we now see Jacob in the pits. Xavier moving comfortably, but here is the team battle between the two Renaults. How far can they go? As there's an Alfa Romeo trying to make up a position there as well. Aaron holds on, but he is being pushed by his teammate. A train starting to form here. With several drivers, the Ferrari will be very unhappy with what's happening here right now. He wants to make up the most positions possible, but he cannot with this train. As here goes Aaron into the pits. nice comfortable entrance to the pits. He does not make any loss as Manuel actually pits, and he makes it down to P7. Kingsley now P7 as Manuel actually makes it into P10 because of the pit stops. Remember that his opponents are haven't pitted yet. But there we go. Here we have the Williams fighting the McLaren DRS slipstream. Beautiful run through the starting straight, through the back straight. Sorry, as the McLaren is forced to pull in behind these two drivers. Another driver has currently left this joined the session. Another spectator that we've got here. Pushing through every single corner. Here we go, here we see the train once again. The Renault now coming really close to Savvy and P2, but either will have to pit. Let's take a look. Yep, the top three has not pitted yet, meaning that both of these drivers might be going into the pits this lap as Mess gets a 2-second time penalty, and both of these drivers pit the way I told him, and the Red Bull coming into the pits has actually hit the racing point, giving him damage. He will need to make a front wing change now. He does not make a front wing change, but he has to stay in the pits due to penalties. Looks like most of the drivers have now pit. As we take a look, Kingsley in P3, of course he has not pit yet, but this is quite a good result for him so far. Lap 18 of 36. Now this is quite surprising if you ask me. 2 stops by Tim and the Toro Rosso. With 2 stops he might be capable. Actually no, he's on the, we have to remember that he's on the medium compound, but he has completed 2 stops and he is currently leading the race. If he does not have any more safety cars, he does have a chance of pulling away and possibly even going for a podium position this race, as he makes hay through the last corners. Starting straight, does he make the fastest lap? No, he does not. He just continues the race. Here we see Manuel still trying to make up all the positions. He's now resumed the race after coming out of the pits in P6. He's got a train in front of him though, which might be good and bad. He's got a DRS and a slipstream to use, but here goes the Williams. The Williams is extremely strong on the starting on straights, as we've seen before. He's made up a lot of the time here. 0.2 of a second he's made up just on the straight on its own. Kingsley is now trailing away solely on the engine power of his racing points and the talent in his feet, arms and eyes. The train now is getting pretty serious. Not the best news for the Mercedes. He wants to continue winning races. He hasn't won a race yet, but he is on the right tracks to do so. If you ask me, it looks as if the Mercedes has been sandbagging, as we actually see a really late downshift, which loses him a little bit of time. But here goes the McLaren. Can he make it? Can he? For a moment I was about to say he's going to go into the pits, but here he goes trying to make a move around the outside or inside. But no, he doesn't. That is the Mercedes actually making a move around the McLaren, while McLaren was trying to fight off the Williams. The McLaren is now in trouble, and so is the Williams, as a Mercedes strong power of Manuel. He now is, the Williams pulls up onto the inside as Manuel tries to make it around the outside. Can he make the move? Beautiful fighting around the outside. Does he make the move? He has to leave the track just a little bit, but he does make the move. He is now substantially into P4. He's now going to be looking for P3 around the inside or outside of Kingsley. How much can he fight here? Amazing overtakes on this single lap by the Mercedes. He is making his team proud. He is making his team principal proud. He is making himself proud. As we now have a quick look down the entire field just to see if we were missing anything. Jacob running in P15 post a pit stop, as here we see the Toro Rosso still in first. NRG with 2 stops as well, with the stronger Ferrari fighting for P1. as Manuel is now in P3. Unfortunately, we missed our overtake. I wish I saw it, but we'll definitely see it in the highlights later this week. Immediately pulling away by 0.8 of a second. Kingsley hasn't stopped yet. The only driver on this field do not stop in this race, as Monster gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Post the entire fight with a Mercedes, the train of drivers has actually split up a little bit, as the Mercedes now back in a podium position. He wants to make something happen today. A very aggressive driver, but a very clean one as well. How far can he go in this race? Sector 2 now is home to another yellow flag. Hopefully not a safety car though. Jacob has retired from the session. Well, I guess we all know what's going to happen now. Another safety car possibly, with 14 laps to go if I am correct. That car does not sound anything close to good. Gearbox problems are probably arisen in this driver's car. All good news for Manuel, who now manages to make to close up on R1 in the Ferrari. As here we see an Alfa Romeo making a move around the inside of the McLaren. Kenny now he goes around the outside. The McLaren fends off. As he makes a move up onto the inside. Does he make a move? Yes, he does on the softer compounds, but there is the McLaren right behind him, who will have DRS and slipstream into the next corner. But the Alfa Romeo is now up into P4 after pit stops. He will be up into P5. Sorry, he's now fighting for P4, which is the position that he started at. He wants that position bad. Kingsley finally makes a stop, as the driver now makes a beautiful move around the outside up onto the middle, up around the Williams. Not good news for the Red Bull of Hybrid, who now struggles with a 3-second time penalty. He was one of the favourites for a podium position this race, but it doesn't look like that anymore. Here he is pushing Killers, two drivers which were in P2 and P3 at one point. They were in P1 and P3 as they make contact, and the Red Bull goes around the inside of the Ferrari. The Ferrari fends off while going around the outside, but the Red Bull seems to have a lot more space. He pushes the Ferrari and they touch just slightly. We all know the deal right now. The Ferrari will have slipstream and DRS. But how much of a difference will that make now? A big difference is made by the slipstream, and wow, what a dummy! Beautiful move by the Ferrari. Can he make it stick? As a Red Bull starts fend off, and he spins. They've touched, and the Red Bull has spun. No safety car released, but Hybrid is in P10. Killer's in P7. Quite an aggressive move there. I don't know what we should call that. Whether it was a racing incident or the fault of Killers. I definitely don't think we can make a blame on Hybrid. But we will remember what happened between the Force India of Esteban Ocon and Max Verstappen in the 2018 season, if I am correct. It was in the exact same place. It's just that the spin was executed in the other direction. Sim still leading quite comfortably, 1.4 seconds out of the reach of NRG. We've got some random drivers joining from other sessions. 5 retirements in this race. 6, sorry. Something quite spectacular. We now see the heavily worn tyres of the Williams ahead of this McLaren. How much can the McLaren fight? These worn tyres, 17 laps he's been on this compound. Manuel will not be too happy for 2 seconds, and he's got 9 laps left to regain the lead of this race, but he is close to both drivers as the Ferrari now makes it into the almost mixed into the DRS zone of the driver in front. With gearbox issues, this is not looking too good, but just listen to that sound of this Ferrari. This does not look too good. He's not on a lot of ERS either. But if we take a look at the Mercedes, he is not either. He is not too well prepared for this race. He is given his all. He is pushing his car as much as possible. He is now on a mild issue regarding fuel, as we see on his telemetry settings. This is not too good news for the driver, as we now see killers pulling up and up close to the Williams. The train forming once again. Here we see the Renault pushing. The McLaren seems to be a subject to a lot of pushing and shoving around in this race. As if when we actually take a look up the field, we see that the Ferrari is up. He is too close. He is making that overtake. The Toro Rosso has nothing to do. Very worn tyres. Even though he's been on the tyres for less than the Ferrari in front of him, he is on medium compounds while the Ferrari is on hards. Immediately pulling away is the Ferrari. Now that the Ferrari is starting to pull away, Manuel will not be too happy, knowing that he needs some sort of miracle to happen. He'll be praying for another safety car, the way we've had safety cars throughout the entirety of this race. He wants one right now. Well, I'll see the position changes between all the drivers here. Most of them actually making up positions thanks to the DNFs in the back of the field. Here goes the Renault of Aaron, running a quite substantial P7, something quite good for a Renault. But I think the biggest shock of today is how we've got Alfa Romeo running in 4th. It seemed as if the Ferrari was about to pit. I have a feeling that we could blame what happens earlier between the Ferrari and the Red Bull. Slightly on the Ferrari though. I don't know, maybe it was a racing incident. But according to what I saw, the Ferrari did not leave too much space. That would be something for the stewards to decide after the race. Points will be deducted and added regarding on what the stewards decide the racing incident was. Tim actually closing back down on the Ferrari ahead of him. What can his driver do with what he's currently got? Substantial speed from both, but he will need to pit very soon. You can hear the problems of the Ferrari's gears all the time. Does he pit? No, he doesn't. He stays out because he's still in the DRS and he wants to make up as much pace as possible. That is Manuel with the Mercedes. He is within 2 seconds of the driver ahead of him. 7 laps to go. Manuel has the chance of regaining the lead of this race. He knows he deserves it. He will be a serious contestant. Kingsley actually makes a move up on his teammate. As there is a teammate battle, Kingsley, this is not his race. He's a very strong driver. He's won races in this season, in this league before, but this is just not what he was hoping for. Absolutely devastating performance from the Racing Point driver today. As here we actually see a Red Bull off hybrid. He could have been way up. He could have been in P5 alongside Achilles, but he is not because of problems, because of touching, because of spinning. But he's still trying to make the most of this race. Pulling into the pits is Monster. No, he is not pulling into the pits actually. They both go slipstreaming as the Red Bull. He makes a look around the outside. Can he make the move? He's going to the inside into the next corner. And he does make the move. But here is the Alfa Romeo having DRS and slipstream into the next corner. Can he make the can he return with a move of his own? He has got substantial speed. Absolutely amazing. He comes, but the Red Bull fends off, pushing the Alfa Romeo off the track. Not something that the Alfa Romeo would have desired, but here is the Renault actually making a move thanks to all the fighting that's happened to him. But the Monster gets a 3-second time penalty, and the Renault TVH will be trying to push up into P9 that the hybrid currently owns. That is very unlucky for Monster. As the Mercedes is now within DRS range of Tim, Tim will be fighting for this train forming between the three drivers here right now as well. Absolutely amazing performance from Tim. 2 pit stops and he's still running in a P2 on 23 lap 1 tyres. It looks like as if he's going to be trying to make it to the end of the race. It doesn't seem as if there's any point of pitting now. He's got a lot of speed and he's got the ERS. Problematic on the ERS is the Mercedes behind the two drivers who, once he makes a move, he's going to have to use some of the CRS, so he should be saving it right now. And as we see, he's now gone from 9% DRS to 20 almost. Yes, he has beat the 20% DRS mark. As he actually goes very close, 0.245 seconds, right behind the Toro Rosso. What will this driver of the Mercedes be capable of in this fight? I hope he wishes for a really good performance from. He wishes for something strong for a clean battle. Here he comes, very strong exit into this corner. He goes up on the inside as the Toro Rosso is going to have the outside into the next corner. But here they go. The Toro Rosso will be trying to fend off. He locks up heavily. This looks as if it's going to be it for the Toro Rosso's chances of P2. The Mercedes instantly pulls away 0.4 seconds of a difference. Now he is going to try push for the Ferrari, who is 0.4 seconds ahead of him. He has had it, the ERS. He's now on 20% ERS, only 10% less than the Ferrari ahead of him. The Toro Rosso now loses 0.7 to the Mercedes. It does not look as if he's going to be making too much here. So you know he's a 3-second time penalty after running up in the high positions, but all eyes are on the Mercedes trying to push back into P1 as he spins very slightly. We see the difference between the start and end of the pack is 29 seconds. Not the best for some of the drivers here, but here we are. Another lap, another starting straight, another immense amount of speed from the Mercedes as he pulls really close into the Ferrari. He will be definitely trying to make a look up on the Ferrari into the next into the next straight. How much can he fight? He actually loses some space, but he does have the DRS, so he's not going to lose too much runs here. The slipstream is still there. The Ferrari is still breaking the air for the Mercedes. Amazing speed from both drivers. The Mercedes is currently keeping it very clean. Very close to two drivers are to each other. 5th gear, 6th gear. still facing his fuel issues, but he's got the ERS now that saved up. He's going to use it all. The ERS is flooding. He's going to be using the DRS now as well. The drag reduction system. Kingskin gets a 3-second time penalty as the Mercedes now tries to make up a lot of space between him and the Ferrari. He does that very substantially, very successfully. They thread sector 1, corners 1, 2 and 3, just slalom dancing between every single apex. He makes up a lot of positions, a lot of space, sorry. 0.2 seconds now separates the two drivers, as we now see that there has been some position changes, as we see the Red Bull of Hybrid now fighting the Renault, which has previously been in front of him, but the Renault now has DRS fighting back. Is the Renault. The Red Bull cannot do anything but just look. He'll be trying to regain the position back on the start finish straight. As that is the best overtaking opportunity on the track. Of course, you can overtake anywhere, but with such long straights, you know how much you can do. Here they go for the end of lap 44 of 34th. 36. He will begin lap 35. As the Mercedes now comes very close to the Ferrari, he's going to take a look up on the outside. No, he does not, but he's immensely close. He's going to be attempting an overtake into the next corners. How much of a fight will this driver put on? Very close, slipstream, clean air, slightly on one wheel, and DRS, better compound tyres. What will this driver do? Very close. He might be looking for we might be looking at some last lap drama in this race. This Mercedes wants the race win. He needs it. He wants to impress his team principal. The Ferrari is putting an amazing performance right in front of him, though, as we see Savi and P14 going for the fastest lap, which is not going to benefit him at all. He's not going to get the extra points because he is running in P14. No, he is not anymore. He has DNF'd. Bad timing for the Mercedes. Now he was hoping for a safety car, but this is probably not the best time for it to happen. As here goes the Mercedes round the outside. He actually makes the edge, and he has shown to be in P1 for a moment, but he has gone so wide that he no longer is running in P1. He needs to make up as much space right now as he can. It looks as if this is not going to be the best news for him here, as we have some moves here as the Red Bull now regains the position. Kingsley running on P13. This is just sad for the Mercedes. He's had an amazing start to the race, but so has Killers and so has the Red Bull of Hybrid. But so far, it's quite staggering to see. There's Toro Rosso on a podium position. They now go through the last sector, last corners. Disappointed Mercedes faces and fans I can see. We take a position change. The Toro Rosso has made up 17 positions. Here is the end of the race. Your race winner is Ferrari, and this is NRG. No, he is not. Manuel, thanks to penalties, has won the race. He has surely not received the information yet. He has not left. Left the session to go back into the lobby. But look at this. This is the Toro Rosso in P3. Killers in P4 thanks to penalties. Compassion in P5, while Aaron makes it into P6. What a race! This league surely does not disappoint. Here you go, the driver from Georgia now makes it onto the top step. Number 13 of the Mercedes. He wins the first round of the season. The Ferrari will be staggered to see what he's just seen. he definitely wishes for something better, as if he didn't have. He definitely wishes he didn't have the penalties. But this is racing, just the way unfortunately is. Here's your grid for the end of the race. Manuel gets the 25 points. As if we take a look at race director, plenty of drivers have changed tyres several times. Just look at this amount of incidents in this race. Just huge. But here is your current winner. Manuel in the Mercedes is winning the current the league. He is going to be going into the next round. I don't remember where the next round is going to be at, but next round is going to take place on Wednesday, 10:30 as always. I wish to invite you to that race. Absolutely amazing fighting we've seen here today. Just staggering to see how amazing some of these drivers can fight. That's all from me today. Thank you for joining me in the F1 2019 race of the WRS Series, World Realistic Series, 50% race around Interlagos. That was 15 corners, carried out 36 times, 4.3 kilometer circuit. Your winner has been Manuel in the Mercedes. I hope to see you next race. My name is Oliver. Thank you for joining me.